Hey everyone, welcome to Car Review. Today we're going to do a no spoiler review of the new movie Ford versus Ferrari. So let's get into it. So Ford versus Ferrari follows the story of the Ford company versus the Ferrari company at the 1966 Le Mans race. And this movie I feel is absolutely superb and deserves a Best Picture nomination at this year's Oscars, and I'll tell you all why in this review. So Ford versus Ferrari is quite long. It's over 2.5 hours long, yet the storytelling is so tight and so cohesive that when I saw it in the theaters, I did not have even a moment where I wanted to grab my phone or go to the bathroom or, fidget in my seat. I was so locked in. All I wanted to do was just watch this movie. Nothing else was even a thought in my mind. It's a gripping story that tells about the Ford company, who was kind of on the back foot during this movie and rising up despite all odds to, spoiler, to perform at the Le Mans race and to end up beating the Ferrari company. And it is a testament to American ingenuity, to putting your foot down and saying, no, we have value and we can do this and we're going to show you. And forget if you're a Ford fan, Chevy fan, Porsche fan, whatever. This is a movie for car lovers. Even if you don't like one company over the other, if you like cars, if you love cars, if you're a gearhead, if you're a mechanic, this movie's right up your alley, because the way that they handle the cars and the racing and the mechanics of cars and the engineering behind it, it's amazing. They get into that detail. They don't just gloss over it, okay? They show you the testing sequences of the vehicles. They show you when they work. They show you when they fail. And the way that they film these racing sequences, and even just the test sequences where they're driving around a closed loop, even that feels like super important, and it's so entertaining just with how the camera tracks the cars and how they put you inside the car, inside the cab as you're driving along with either Christian Bale or Matt Damon or whoever else is operating the vehicle at that time. And it does a great job of just telling you, look, this movie could have been about all the bureaucracy and politics between the companies, but no, we're going to make you feel for these characters, feel for the driver, feel for the companies, feel why this rivalry, is the way it is. And it's just so entertaining. It's one of the best movies I've seen all year, if not the best movie I've seen all year. And I actually want to see it again. And again, this movie is over 2.5 hours long, yet much like, The Wolf of Wall Street, for example, it does not skip a beat. Once it starts, it does not stop. There is no point where you're like, oh, really, we're visiting this guy's family, or, oh, they're really making this feel stretched out. It's all just, everything feels like its own beat, to where nothing gets lost and you feel like everything in this movie is valued. I will say this about the performances: amazing. Christian Bale deserves a Best Supporting Actor nomination, and Matt Damon deserves a Best Actor nomination. And this movie, led by those two powerhouse actors, completely fuels it for me. Their friendship, their banter, their wit, their ability to act off one another is amazing. You might come for the cars, but you're going to believe in their friendship. You're going to care about them, which can be difficult because, again, you're going for the racing. I don't think many people will go to this movie being like, oh, I really want to see, these guys talking or whatever. If you do, that's amazing, because you should, because the movie portrays that amazingly. But you come for the cars, stay for the performances. It's kind of that kind of dichotomy between the two actors, and the supporting cast that revolves around him, like John Bernthal, and I forget the guy who plays Henry Ford II, but he's amazing. And it's all, you believe in this team that Matt Damon and company assemble, and you want them to succeed. You want this story to be told. And seriously, while you're watching it, as I said, there's never a dull moment. You could feel like you could live on in this world for a long time. Seriously, if they won't, but if they came out with like the story about the 67 Le Mans or the 68 Le Mans, like, I would watch it, because James Mangold and the writers and everybody else involved, does such a great job of setting up this overarching story that lasts a long time. It lasts like 90 days, I think, or something like that, because that's how long they had to build this car. And it's just this achievement of ingenuity and believing in yourself, and it makes you feel amped up. Like, I was driving home, and normally I film my car reviews while I'm driving, hence car review. But while I was driving, I was just thinking about my own vehicle, the vehicle I film these in, you know, the vehicles I've had, my first car, the car I want to have in the future. It puts you in this mindset of like, okay, I can achieve something if I wanted it. I can buy this thing if I put in enough time and effort. And you see these characters get pushed around, they get stomped on. Ford is told, no, you can't do this. You might have your foot in the racing world, but you don't even know what you don't even know. You know, Ford is really portrayed as this company that's on the back foot. And to not give spoilers, the company is on the back foot during this movie. And if you know anything about the history of the Ford company, you wouldn't know that the state that they were in during the 60s. And I didn't know any of that. You know, I went to see the cars, and they just, the way that they were able to encapsulate everything that's going on with America, with foreign businesses, it's really just such a well told story. It's really just a tribute to storytelling. And I wish more films applied this method, where you can take a premise that sounds honestly kind of boring unless you fill it with a lot of racing or theatrics, but they didn't. You know, again, the moments where they're outside of the car is just enjoyable as the stuff inside the car, if not more enjoyable than inside the car. Let's see. The music I thought was great. This has a nice late 60s soundtrack vibe to it, which I really appreciated. A lot of this, at least I think so, a lot of this looked practical, and even if it wasn't practical effects, the visual effects are that good that I was fueled. But I do think that a lot of the racing sequences and test sequences were used with actual cars. So I mean, you're gonna get a lot of hands-on visual, you know, visualness with the vehicles and with the shops, and you feel like you could live in this world because it's so real to the touch. And I was just really amazed. I almost wish that this movie would be adapted to a book, or was adapted from a book, because I just want to have this story again. Like, I want to see the movie again. Again, the characters are sharp, they're witty, the dialogue jumps off the screen. The story really just wraps you in from beginning to end. And I didn't want it to end. If they would have had on another half hour, or even a full hour, make it a 3.5 hour movie, I would have sat there and just enjoyed all of it. But I understand that, you have to have your beginning, middle, and end. But it is just so freaking entertaining that I could easily see myself going again, if not getting this movie on DVD when it comes out. I was super enthralled with it. If you're a Mangold fan, because he made Logan, which is an amazing superhero movie, check it out. If you're a car fan, you check it out. If you're a fan of just, like dream come true stories about ingenuity, you go see this movie. And this is definitely going to be an Oscar frontrunner. If it isn't, it'll be a shame. So if you're into awards and stuff like that, see this movie. I can't sing the praises of this movie enough, and so much of it is racing through my head. But again, I want to keep this spoiler free. And seriously, I think you should just look at a poster or see like one trailer and then just go, or even don't watch anything at all. It would be amazing if I had the experience of just going in completely cold turkey, not knowing what I was getting, not knowing what to expect. Because while it did exceed my expectations, I can't imagine what it would be like if somebody just went to the theater and said, "One ticket, please." That if you can have that experience, please have it. So that is my review of Ford versus Ferrari. If you like this video, comment, share it, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.